What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming. It is time for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today we will be taking a look at a series here between ATN's DarKFoRcE and Slayer's MMA. We'd have DarKFoRcE spawning down here in the 6 o'clock position as our red Zerg player. And then up here in the 12 o'clock, I see Mavengeance as well, but this is Slayer's MMA. You may know him. He's a fairly popular Terran player, really great micro skills as well, and certainly part of the reason I'm looking forward to casting this series. Now, DarKFoRcE also a very solid Zerg player, and I have casted quite a few of his games as well, and obviously, you know, DarKFoRcE, he's got my name in it, so guy gets a thumbs up just for that there. So yes, 12 o'clock position, Slayer's MMA as our blue Terran player, and then down in the 6 o'clock, DarKFoRcE as our red Zerg player. Terran versus Zerg. MMA versus DarKFoRcE, starting things off here on Mutalisk. So it is Monday. We'll be doing some commentaries, and I do want to let you guys know, those of you wondering, hey, Force, what is up with the Diablo 3 beta? Why aren't you posting? I've seen stuff posted up. Well, you will notice any of the content posted is from people who live in Europe, and Blizzard EU, basically there's been some communication error between US and EU Blizzard, and as such, we do have some posters of content. You'll notice that none of the US, popular commentators or YouTube personalities are posting any Diablo 3 content. It's because we're not allowed to yet. We are still playing the waiting game right now, so we will have to just wait until that actually gets lifted and we're able to post content. But that's just a quick little heads up. Let's get into the StarCraft action. Diablo 3 stuff will be very soon. Soon, that's a word you guys have heard too much. Me too. All right, so we do have MMA starting off with a 2-Rax. He will be doing some 2-Rax aggression towards DarKFoRcE, pushing out early on. This is going to allow him to provide a little bit of pressure and also hopefully hinder DarKFoRcE's economy. That's kind of one of the major focuses there. So first Marine coming out. That second Rax about halfway finished. SCV scale moving out for MMA as well. This is almost always followed up by a quick expansion, so I'm going to expect that from MMA. Whether or not he decides to build that command center in his main base first, or if he decides to push out, either or, should be seeing some sort of aggression from him one way or another. And then there we go, DarKFoRcE coming out with that expansion. That's about just a little bit over 50% of the way finished. Same thing with that spawning pool. We do have him checking out for this attack. He does know it's coming. He saw those 2 racks building, so right now looking for the SCV scout with his drone moving all the way around. He wants to see, hey, is there a bunker in production anywhere? You can see checking those dark corners, and there we go, finally spotting that SCV with the Overlord. He moves to engage with that drone scout. A little surprised though, because there could be a second SCV building a bunker right now, so I'm surprised that he pulled so far away just to kind of chase it down, especially since moving into the main base he would have seen exactly where it's going. And actually right now MMA moving back with that first Marine. Pretty interesting there. He's got 2 Marines at that tower. And oh no, look at this. He has stopped the pressure momentarily. He's coming out with that quick expansion. So MMA still hasn't decided to move forward right now. He's at that tower. We do have DarKFoRcE moving across the map right now with those Zerglings. Those will get sniped out very quickly. 2 down, number 3. MMA getting a few free kills early on, setting him a little bit ahead. We can see 75 resources lost so far for DarKFoRcE. He's got 6 more Zerglings coming out. He's prepared for this pressure, but it doesn't look like it's coming in all honesty. MMA having 2 Marines rallied here. MMA will not be doing a full-on push, at least at this stage of the game. Here's the great thing behind what MMA has actually done right there. You can see he's not pushing. He's devoted into this 3rd expansion. Oh my gosh, MMA coming out with that quick 3rd. All right, so here's a little synopsis of what just took place. We have that feigned aggression of this 2-Rax. You can see he even pushed out with the SCVs and one or two of those Marines just to show DarKFoRcE, hey, there's some Marines and a bunker pressure coming. But then he pushes back and instead spends his resources on a quick 3rd expansion. Also coming out that factory right now. He does have those 2 saturated refineries. Pretty nuts here. Opening for MMA. MMA faking that aggression, forcing DarKFoRcE to make a bunch of Zerglings. Let's take a look here. Got a total of 16 Zerglings right now. That is much, much more than he would typically want at 6 minutes. Normally, he would have had this nice and saturated right now, but instead, with all those Zerglings, now he's forced to move out with a counterattack to actually make some use of that and almost go into the main, but instead, diverting his forces to that natural expansion, only getting that 1 SCV kill. And I'm a little bit disappointed, actually, that DarKFoRcE didn't move into that main, because he would have most certainly scouted out that expansion, and he definitely needed to do so. So in not scouting that out, right now, DarKFoRcE really has no idea what's going on, and hopefully, there we go, he is deciding finally to move into that third expansion, but I'm a little frustrated right now for DarKFoRcE. I mean, he responded to what looked like 2 racks aggression. He droned up very hard. That set him behind economically. He pushed out with a Zergling counterattack, and he effectively did no damage. He killed off 1 SCV. Congratulations. That certainly wasn't the amount of damage that he really needed to do. Worst of all, though, he had that clear opportunity to just waltz right into the main, and he could have done really a lot of damage, even with that small amount of Zerglings in the main, away from those bunkered Marines. He also would have scouted out this expansion. That was a tremendous missed opportunity there for DarKFoRcE with those Zerglings. He was halfway up the ramp, but he just decided to move on down to that expansion instead. And now it does look like we've got some Blue Flame Hellions coming out for MMA. That Infernal Preigniter working its way on out. 2 Hellions moving across the map. 2 more ready to pop right now as well. So going to be following up with some Blue Flame Hellions, and then maybe he will be moving out with that push. That third expansion just about ready right now for DarKFoRcE. 1 Zergling gets dropped at that Xel'Naga Tower. MMA will be moving out, and yes, first and foremost, scouting out to see if there is the third, and MMA fully aware. There it is. Third expansion getting taken, so MMA knows exactly what's going on. We do have a Roach Warren finished right now. Baneling Nest just about to pop. Extractor coming on through over here, so we will be sitting on a total of 4 extractors, finally getting some decent saturation, but this is a bit later than he would have liked it, and you can see as a result, quite a bit behind economically as to where MMA is, and there you go. With those 4 Hellions right now, grabbing these Zerglings that were at those Xel'Naga Towers, and we can see right now DarKFoRcE is prepared to deal with that Hellion pressure, but guess what? It's not coming. Still not yet. Now we do have a couple Marines moving across the map. We might finally see MMA push out with some aggression. 4 Hellions, bunch of Marines as well. So here we go. Getting ready for a push right now. Mounting up his forces in the center of the map. And MMA finally looking to be aggressive. Moving right now. First, we'll be walking right by that creep tumor. Is he going to drop a scan or not? There it is. Dropping a scan. Killing off those tumors. And here comes the push right now. MMA moving forward with those Blue Flame Hellions. Need to be wary though of those roaches, deciding right now to go back home, and still no aggression from MMA. MMA, wow, unbelievably getting the Hellion just out of, oh no, losing it. I was so proud of that Hellion that he managed not to die, but finally does get dropped by those roaches, and DarKFoRcE getting ready for possibly a counterattack. He is first grabbing this tower right now, getting rid of that Marine, and never mind, he is heading back. So again, still MMA has not committed to any of this aggression. He has still just been macroing up, and DarKFoRcE responding to what he expects to be pressure. Still hasn't really seen much of anything. So there you go. Hellions moving across the map. We'll be trying to spot any rogue Zerglings and or drones that would be trying to get some scouting done. MMA just kind of dancing around the map right now with those. Grabbing the 1 Zergling, then grabbing that tower. Going to be situated there for a moment, and here actually comes a Marine tank push right now for MMA. He's finally lifting off that third, and looks like he is ready to take that third, and he's going to the high yield expansion. Quite ballsy indeed, MMA deciding to take that high yield. That is certainly very risky. We had a couple of roaches trying to chase down those Hellions. Really not standing much of a chance. They are just a wee bit too slow to actually be able to do too much to them. Don't think we've had many workers kill, no. In fact, DarKFoRcE has managed to kill 1 SCV, but we've seen no actual worker harass at all yet from MMA. Now, that doesn't mean he hasn't set behind DarKFoRcE economically. We saw that early faked pressure, which forced DarKFoRcE to make Zerglings, which he effectively wasn't able to really make use of. And there we go, a couple Zerglings moving in the resource line of MMA. Going to be able to do a little bit of damage. Marines will be thinning up those numbers. Now it's just 2 Zerglings moving into the main. MMA has that high yield, nice and saturated right now. Needs a few more SCVs to actually get a nice full saturation on that. But the fact that he is up and running there and moving into his 4th as well, MMA, such a strong economy right now. And DarKFoRcE really in a tough position. He's got some decent saturation, trying to keep pace, but as soon as this high yield gets saturated, he will be falling very far behind. So MMA really need to, try to protect that expansion as much as possible. We got a couple of Marines trying to buffer and protect against those roaches. Tanks able to finally get sieged up, and that's going to force those roaches to push back right now. We do have DarKFoRcE scouting out this expansion. He is aware of the fact that MMA is at the high yield, but not able to push. And that sensor tower, beautiful placement there. That is going to allow MMA to see any kind of push that we may be seeing at all from DarKFoRcE here. And here we go right now, setting up the tanks in the low ground. MMA getting ready to push on this expansion. We got some Speedlings, Banelings, and Roaches, and in fact, lots of them moving up right now for DarKFoRcE. Getting a full surround, and the Banelings hitting those Marines. There are enough Roaches here. And oh no! Managed to get rid of those Banelings really quick, but really not enough Finally, DarKFoRcE able to mop up those forces. That's a very nice position. He should push out for a counterattack. He just need to try to do some damage, even if it's just a little bit. But here we go. Tank getting set up right now for MMA. And that's a beautiful position. Look at the range of that tank right now, especially if he has that tower, getting full vision. Couple of Marines moving down to the low ground. And that small amount of mutas really doesn't stand a chance against that one turret, so he's not going to be able to hit that tank at all. Hopefully we do see a tank on this side. That would be very, very nice also. And again, look at this. Because of the sensor tower placement, MMA sees exactly what's going on. He knows. Plus, obviously, having those towers helping him quite a bit. A couple Speedlings and Roaches will be taking out those Marines, plus that turret right there. Got a few more mutas. Muta numbers are starting to climb right now, and that's what DarKFoRcE really needs to be able to break through those turrets and actually hit the siege tank to allow his forces to push up without taking too much damage as they make their way to the base. Another tank placed right over here as well. We got a tank situated over here. We do finally have DarKFoRcE moving into that 4th expansion. Also got an extra hatch over here for some additional larvae. Ooh, we did lose a Marine over there. It was a scouting Marine for MMA, and here comes the mutas getting ready to push right up into that main expansion. At the same time, a couple of Zerglings scouting out possible expos over there. Mutas doing a little bit of damage, taking out the one turret. We'll be working on this next turret, and let's see how much more damage he's going to be able to do. We do have MMA pulling off all of those SCVs off the main resource line. He doesn't want to lose any to this pressure that's coming right now. We've got a few Marines going to be stimming up and pushing back these mutas, and even look, just a small amount of Marines really is enough to force mutas back. Mutas so fragile against those stimmed up Marines, especially with those combat shields and any semblance of upgrades. We've got 1-1 right now for MMA. What are we looking for DarKFoRcE's upgrades? 0-1 for his air units, ground units. What do we got for upgrades for him as well? 0-1, and does he have range? No, so just 0-1 melee, and then 0-1 for those air units as well. DarKFoRcE finally, fourth base has popped right now, but look at the income right now for MMA. Just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's got another expansion coming up. He's already got 4 running. Scan, checking out those mutas. Mutas a little bit wary of moving into that tank fire, but a little bit wary of moving in that turret fire, but they really want to take out that tank. So figured out it was worth it. Burning turret finally does drop, and unfortunately MMA wasn't able to get a repair down on that in time. We aren't seeing much counter harass at all from MMA, but in all honesty, just securing his bases right now is enough. He just has such a strong economic lead, and look at that. Muta's afraid of pushing in just because of that small amount of Marines, plus all of those turrets there that are spread out for MMA. And this is really scary in all honesty for DarKFoRcE. We're going to need to see some very strong and aggressive pushes that would actually be effective for him. You can see they're about even right now. Here comes a small drop in the main right now from MMA. Let's see how much damage he's able to do. Unfortunately, not much. Mutas plus Speedlings mopping up. Those Marines try and take out as many of those mutas as possible before they lose their life. And here comes another drop. Now this will not take out this expansion, but he should be able to force the cancel right now. So first dropping, he should stim up and then push up against that. Couple mutas getting ready to engage this expo over here, and it's actually perfect time for them. Here we go. Muta's moving on up. We'll be able to take out this expansion. Finally engaging. There we go. Marine still sitting over there, not stimming up, not engaging at all. But unfortunately, MMA might be forced to cancel this off right now. That amount of mutas should be enough to do the trick. Couple Marines moving up. I don't know what the heck is going on right there. Where did those Marines just kind of walked through all that creep up into this expansion? There we go. Finally stimming up. Should be forcing the cancel. As we can see, MMA did lose that expansion because of those mutas, so he really needs this. And there we go. Forcing that cancel, killing off the worker, and then hopefully lifting up and heading back home. Actually going to take a few free kills. And here comes a push right now. MMA moving across the map, spreading out those tanks. He does need to be careful, though, about mutas moving up to the backside. There we go. Marines moving back to protect those tanks, and we should be seeing a slow push right now from MMA. Any sort of counter aggression doesn't look like DarKFoRcE is doing it right now. Just about to finish with that hive tech. Going to allow him to move up into Brewlords, and here we go. Speedlings and Banelings pushing forward. Mutas as well. Trying to move right on top of the tank. We'll be taking them out. Those Banelings. Nice Marine splits. Trying to avoid as much splash damage as possible. A couple tanks up on the high ground. Unbelievable there from MMA. He really was in a position to be completely overwhelmed, but due to some very nice micro from him, was able to overcome that and prevent himself from being taken out. And again, those Marines trying to protect those tanks here in the low ground. Tanks protecting those Marines from Speedlings and Banelings as well from the high ground. Mutas trying to engage, but they're really, again, wary of moving into that Marine fire. And this is dangerous right now for DarKFoRcE because he is in the position to lose that expansion. But here's a nice swarm right now from DarKFoRcE. Nice swarm at the natural expansion. Let's see how much damage he's able to do. He's got Banelings mopped up right now. We've got SCVs getting ready to engage that couple of Marines. And is he not going to utilize that? We got the, oh no, Mutas taken out. The nice swarm gets dropped and the Mutas taking out those tanks over there. Marines stimming up though and tearing through those Mutas so quickly. Just grinding them. Unfortunately, losing the Nidus network. DarKFoRcE calling the GG. He had a tremendous opportunity, but unfortunately wasn't able to capitalize on it. He wasn't able to unload that Nidus network fast enough to actually deal with those Marines that were able to stim up and take it down. And again, we did see those Mutas take out those tanks over there, but MMA was able to respond with some stim Marines and push back those Mutas. Quite an unfortunate situation for DarKFoRcE indeed. All right, guys, that was game number 1 here between DarKFoRcE and MMA. Looks like MMA does take it. Really disappointed that we didn't get to see that Nidus network actually come into play. But anyways, game number 2 is coming right up. As always, guys, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.